Hi, I just want to give you a quick overview of the Gallery plugin that comes packaged with your theme. When you install the plugin, you'll notice that by default, your images will be stacked in a nice Pinterest layout. Now, I want to show you all the different ways you can configure your gallery. So I'm going to go in, I want to edit the page. I'll go ahead and open up a new tab so we can just switch back and forth pretty quickly. And when you go and you click on your gallery from the dashboard, and when you click on the edit icon, you'll notice that to the right you'll have all these different settings or options that have been added by the plugin. Probably the most important being the display option. Here you can change your gallery to be either a masonry or a slider or a carousel or a slider with bottom image links. So let's go through each one of these and configure it with different options just to see kind of how it works. So starting with the masonry, you can have it linked to the media file, attachment page, or none. When you have a link to the media file, what you're going to have is this pop-up image library, and you can cycle through all of your images very nicely. Now if you want to link to the attachment page, you can just go and update that, and this will link to the attachment page. Now you could also not have a link to anything if you'd like, so you have flexibility there. With the image size, you can decide what image size do you want to display in your masonry layout. So say for example we're using 9 columns. Well, what's going to happen is that your images if you have a really big image, the browser will resize it to a really small image, so your image will not be as sharp as maybe it possibly could be. So you can set the image size to, let's say, small. And then I want to update gallery. And so now we have our image gallery with 9 columns, and we even have room for another image if we wanted to. And we could also set the pop-up size, and we could set it, maybe we don't want to show the full size image, or maybe not even the large image, so we could just show the big image. And we can hit update. Let me go and change the columns back to, we'll set it to 4. So what you'll notice here is when I click on an image, we're showing a slightly smaller image. Instead of the large image, we're showing just a big size image. So you can control what image you want to show on the pop-up gallery. Something else you can control is how your captions are displayed. You can hide the captions, you can have the captions show up on an image hover, you can have it show up on the image always, or you can have it show below the image. So if we have it show, let's set it to show on the image. So I'll update this, and you'll see right now I haven't refreshed it yet, and when I hover over an image you can see the caption pops up below here. But now when I refresh it, all the captions stay on the image hovered over it. And again, we can also set it below the image, and we can even change the caption type to either be a paragraph or some kind of heading tag. So let's set it to be a heading tag and see what it looks like. And so here we have images with the caption below, and we have a heading tag. This is an H3. So again, lots of flexibility with this gallery plugin. Something else that's kind of neat is that you can control the gutter width. So right now it's set to 5 pixels, and the gutter width is simply just the space between the image. So we could set it to something a lot larger, let's say 15 pixels. And when I refresh it, you see I have my images and there's more spacing in between. So kind of a neat feature. Or you could go with something as small as 1 pixel. And here, this also, you might enjoy the look of this. All the images with just a 1 pixel separation. So lots of flexibility. It's a very powerful plugin. You can set the bottom space, which is essentially just the bottom space below this last image. So here there's like a bounding box around this masonry gallery, and you can set the bottom padding to be 20 pixels, 10 pixels, 5 pixels, or 0 pixels. So this is nice if you want to put like another image or a slider or something below it and you don't want there to be any space. So you can also hide the controls. So if actually this only works for the slider, so we'll show that here in a second. So let's set to display to slider, and let's have it be the slide feature. Now whenever you have the display set to slider, you want to make sure your image size is probably set to slider. You can have it be small or big, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But let's see what it looks like right now. And we don't want the slider to link to anything, so we'll set it to none. And whenever you set the link to none, this will have no effect or use for that particular gallery. So I'm going to go ahead and update the gallery, hit update. So now our gallery has turned into a nice image slider. And here I can go through and just slide through my images, and I can configure my slider, I can hide my controls, I can show the caption on the image. Let's see what that looks like. So you can see here that I have the caption below the image. And let's play around a little bit more, and let's show you what a carousel looks like. So here is a carousel, and auto width means that you can insert a fixed height image which could have different widths. So let's set it to medium, fixed height, medium size. Hit update gallery. And so you can see here I have a carousel, and it goes through each image, and all the images are just kind of stacked together side by side. So kind of a neat feature. And again, the column width, the gutter width is set to 1 pixel. We could change this and set it back to 5. Well, let's do 10. And here we have some spacing between each image. So again, lots of flexibility, lots of control. You can also you can use this carousel feature, which will respond to this column value. So if I set the column value to 7, and then I want my image size to be, let's use the carousel large, and this simply is a cropped image of a fixed dimension, of a fixed size. So when I refresh it, I now have a carousel with exactly 7 images, and I can go and slide through each one. And then the very last display is the slider with bottom image links. This is really nice for the home page, and I have a tutorial devoted just to this type of display. But I'll just go ahead and show you real quick kind of what this looks like. I want to set the image size to slider. So you can see here I have a slider, and I have 3 bottom image links, and I can set the URL for the image link by selecting on an image, scrolling down, and setting the link to, and just adding whatever URL I want. Maybe it's a link to my blog page, or a link to my contact page. And by the way, also when you are using Masonry Gallery and you have the custom link setting checked, then any image will link to any URL you have in the link to field. So it's kind of a neat feature. So that's just kind of an overview of some of the things you can do with the Gallery plugin.